Thank you for the opportunity to come up here tonight. I got a call from Bob Sinclair, and Bob invited me here. Yeah, I'm not the greatest speaker in the world, but I do the best that I can. I'm not a flamboyant person. You don't see me in the newspaper a whole lot because I'm just not one of those people that look at it as taking credit for myself. However, we do lead the people in our office, and I like giving the people that do the work the credit for what goes on in our office. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Charlie Ray Fox Jr. I was born and raised here in Fauquier County. I've lived in this county all my life. I have 5 children. I had a wife, but she run off, so there's nothing I can do about that, but I'm moving on. I'm proud of my children. And, you know, campaigns are ugly. I don't like ugly campaigns, and I vowed in this election not to get ugly on it. But I don't have 40 of my children living with me or working for me, or my relatives. And those are some of the things that have come out in this election that I don't like to see. I'm moving forward with this department. I've been moving forward for the past 12 years. I've been your sheriff here in this county. And some of the things that Bob has said, I agree with. Accreditation. Well, I want to get accredited. I have not had the opportunity to get accredited because there is a price tag attached to those things. I paid the $250 to get accredited for the self-assessment. We couldn't make it there. And we won't make it there until we get our property and evidence room fixed, which finally we got to a point that we could use our property and evidence room. There was an air quality issue. It was in a trailer next to the breathalyzer room at the bottom of the sheriff's office, at the bottom of the hill where all the water runs underneath the building. So I've experienced a lot of problems over the past 12 years. I started on this project shortly after I got in the office because it was one of the things that I campaigned on to try to get accomplished, and I could not get accomplished. Joe Higgs, when he was the sheriff here, God bless him, he tried to get to that point too. But there was 35 years of evidence piled up in this little evidence storage room that hadn't been gone through or gotten rid of. Now we've gotten rid of 22,000 pieces of evidence out of that facility, trying to clean it up and take care of it. That's been a process that we've been working. Day 4, my chief deputy was brought back to help me accomplish that goal. And Mark Jones, who's one of my forensics people, helped me accomplish that goal also. We're moving along better now than what we ever have. I've since then purchased equipment for computers and technology to upgrade. Now when you walk in there, you can take and scan that piece of equipment and find out, or that piece of evidence and tell you whether it's at the lab, whether it's in the court system, or it's been destroyed. And it will flag us when it comes time for all that to happen. So I've tried to stay up on the technology. But technology is expensive. And you as the taxpayers will have to be footing that bill when it comes to that. Now I have to thank the supervisors for what they do give me, but you can't accomplish all these goals at one time. There's a lot of things that cost money in this county. We got a building over there right now that the sheriff's office is currently in, but the floor is settling in the basement. Folks, we got an $8 million radio system in that building. And I've been working with the county to try to get that floor because we have an underground stream under there. And they've been working on trying to get that accomplished. They don't have space or room to put any of this stuff. Getting back to where I started in the beginning, and I'll have a tendency to lead off in the areas that I talk about from time to time. I started here in 1981 as a fresh young deputy under Luther Cox. Roger, you probably remember that.
Yeah.
Luther, I don't have a college education. And Luther told me then, he said, well, if you did have a college education, I probably wouldn't hire you. He said, I want to train you the way that I want it done. And that's the way that I learned. I've had some college along the way, but I don't have a degree. But I do the best I can, and I've kept up with all my certifications. I worked for the Department of State Police for 9 years because I got it in my head that I wanted to be sheriff. So when I ran for sheriff in 1991, I lost. They sent me on my way. So I finally got on with the Department of State Police, worked there for 9 years, came back to this county. I was certified as a crime prevention specialist, which I have people on my staff now that are certified crime prevention. It's an important area, and I have to ask the general public to help us in that area because we don't have the manpower to do it all ourselves. It's like I was caught in the school when we were going through class in the crime prevention. We used to all be neighbors. We used to look out for one another. You don't get as much of that anymore. We need more people out there to kind of watch us out for our brothers and sisters and our neighbors and our fellow workers. It's important that the community helps law enforcement. Now you got people that barely want to call in and help on a case or a crime or testify or get called to come down and represent themselves in a court case as a juror or a person, citizen of the county. I love my area, I love my community. I've loved Fauquier County for as long as I can remember. And I search for ways all the time to try to save the taxpayers' dollars. We get grants, bulletproof vest grants. We get extra grants for highway safety. As a matter of fact, this past week we found out that we won the Chiefs Challenge Public Safety Award. I think it's in the newspaper this week, which I'm proud of my guys because they set it up, they did all that work themselves, and they came out number one on top out of 34 people that applied for it. I have a good group of guys. It's a young department. We've had a lot of turnover rate. It seems like every time that we get decent guys happen, they get a little bit of education, familiarization, and law enforcement training under their belts. They leave and go to other areas. Our department is very diverse. I have my nephew who works for me, one of two people that are related to me in that department, was on top of a fire truck a couple weeks ago and had a piece of shrapnel hit him in the arm and broke and shattered his bone and also knocked the nerve out. Those folks are dedicated. He jumped out of a police uniform into a fire uniform on top of the truck just to save a man's house. I've had other guys do that also, drag them out of burning buildings. I'm proud of my department. I stand behind it 100%. Now for the past 12 years, we've gotten this grant money, we've gotten as much as we could possibly do. We buried the bar on the steel to get what we need. And we're going to keep on doing this as long as citizens of Fauquier County will vote for me to get back in there. And I am asking for your vote. If there's any way possible that we can do it, I'd love to have it. Of course, I know you're not going to vote for me. Thank you very much.